look at like Blue's Clues, and it's like, who is he talking to? Steve is insane. Like, it's like, no, it's for fucking 4-year-olds, guys. They're very artistic.
Yeah, I'm excited. I need to save up money so I can afford to go to whenever there's a Deltarune concert in Japan. Like, I am going.
Oh my god,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, well, like, I still get choked up listening to the Undertale and anniversary concert thing when they put that up, and it's genuinely like instrumented so well, and so I have to imagine it's reasonably possible to like for there to be one in the future for Deltarune. So like,
Yeah.
I would go to Japan just to make that happen and do
Damn.
other stuff, obviously. But
I bet they would do it
One day
in, the US.
in Japan.
Oh yeah, I bet they would do it in the US.
Toby doesn't want to commute too far from Kyoto or wherever he is these days.
I have no clue where that guy lives because I'm not a freak.
I just know he's in Japan and has a bodyguard apparently.
I just know he learned Japanese. And I'm
Oh,
like,
he loves learning Japanese.
he's just too talented. It's not fair. He does too many things well. It's like, stop it.
It's funny too, because like the joke is he's bad at drawing, but like
No, they're
when you've
good.
seen-
What are you talking about?
when you've seen his like Tenna drawings, you're like, no, this is like clearly he
perfect.
understands
Okay,
like, composition and
like-
character design.
Yeah, I've seen his
Yeah.
art back in like Starman.net. The dude can draw.
Yeah.
Draw.
Does he sit down and practice it? No, but he can do a doodle.
I remember some of the fan art we he used to post in Starman.net forums. Like, damn, that takes me back early mid 2000s when I discovered this game called Earthbound.
It's on my list to play.
Yes.
Ooh,
Please update us when you do.
it's so genuine.
I know.
It's a
I've heard
game
only
about
good
nostalgia
things.
without like being like, remember this, remember that. It's more like the heartaches of home and
Oh,
It's a game about touching grass.
yeah, yeah.
cool.
I have a feeling it will hit you exactly the way that you need it for it to land. So I'm hopeful.
Hooray. I look forward to finally finishing Mario RPG so I can move on to Earthbound.
Yes,
also
That's
a good one, yeah.
Such a breezy game too. Like so great.
Are you doing the remake?
Yeah.
Man, that remake, I both love it and I hate it, but I'm not gonna go into it because I don't want to affect your experience.
My husband is guiding me through it LP style, so all the
Aw.
trivia is getting thrown at me while it's happening.
Oh yeah,
so-
because that game's like localization is infamous. And they did it in like a month too. Wasn't that
Ted
oh,
Woolsey.
Ted Woolsey? Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And they kept some of the Woolseyisms in the translation, which is neat.
but you'll get all of that, I'm sure. But in the meantime, welcome to Brainlords, Video Games of the Mind, a panel discussion between artists and the art they love. I'm your host, Kyle. I go by Cute Monster Props, and I'm an SFX artist from the video games industry. I work at Vulpin Props making trophies for esports tournaments, as well as life-size items, weapons, and characters from your favorite video games. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jorge. Jorge, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, it's me again, Jorge. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer. I work for Fangamer. We do merchandising and product designs for indie games as well as AAA titles. I have nothing to plug right now. In fact, why don't we forget about that? Let's introduce our guest.
Yes, we have a very special guest today. Her takes are hot, but her takeouts are even hotter. She's equal parts Slime from Dragon Quest and Mr. Smithers. She's trying to bring back the whoop 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 chant from the gay 90s. She's Vivi's #1 fan in real life and in video game. In her restless dreams, she still sees that town.
Oh.
Jess, aka Voidburger, aka Visk from Skull Tenders, aka Mrs. Hank the Chog.
Wow, that was the most thorough introduction humanly possible to write for me. I'm so impressed and chuffed about it. Thank you.
All of my guest intros have been that. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Hi, it's me, Voidburger. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
Jess.
joining us.
What-
It's
what
a
a treat.
pleasure and an honor.
I also don't have anything to plug right now. I'm recovering from all the
I guess
things he
real-
listed.
Real quick, Jess, what do you do creatively, and what are some things you enjoy about video games, I guess?
Wow, that's a really big question. I have done a bunch of things. Let's plays, streams, video essays. I was on Giant Bomb for a spell. I was making a podcast for a spell. A lot of those things are in the past now, and I'm recovering from all of the undue stress I put on myself for a lot of those things, because I work too hard. I'm stupid.
No.
My standards are too high.
I am impressed by your many hats.
Thank you. I'm hanging them up for a little while until my head stops hurting from all of them. So.
Yo, like us doing this, we're feeling that now. Like the hustle is real, and it's not that we regret doing it, but we are certainly feeling the burnout.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than you think. Yeah,
it creeps up on you.
It's fun to have ideas. It's hard to do the ideas. Believe it or not.
Perfect way to put it.
Which makes Undertale and Deltarune all the more impressive to me, because it's like I've seen so many projects like not get off the ground or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how difficult it is to make things, and it's like, y'all went and made this crazy ass thing? Whoa. That's a miracle. Games are miracles. That's how I feel about games.
They
Any of them get
are.
made. It's a fucking miracle.
They kind of are. We're not privy to like the ones that don't make it. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How many games haven't come out? It's millions, I'm sure.
God.
Exactly.
Billions, maybe.
Well, today's topic is... game theories that kill the vibe.
Ooh.
Games are one of the most complicated mediums to write. You have 2D artists, 3D artists, environmental artists, writers, copywriters, scenario designers, programmers, localizers, all telling parts of the story. It's no wonder that games have such a deep lore. This week on Brainlords, we're discussing why some game lores seem to have a life of their own, and what happens when fandoms seem to say more than the text itself.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
That's meaty. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying those out too. I think that feels good.
Yeah.
It feels official.
Professional. It feels like a video essay. It's like really clean.
Well, why don't we just jump straight into it before instead of just defining our terms? Jorge, what can you tell me about the Squall is dead theory?
Oh, this is where we're starting, huh? God damn it.
We're gonna warm up.
Well, I guess like I'll go through what it is. Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, actually, real quick, I will just as a courtesy. For anyone listening, we'll be talking about spoilers for things like Final Fantasy, Silent Hill, Deltarune, and also maybe potentially covering some heavier topics given the nature of a lot of these games. So just enter at your own risk. I have notes in the show. Yada yada. Take care of yourself.
Yada yada. This is important, Kyle.
I put up a fair warning.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Notes.
Spoiler, yeah, no, we are gonna enter super spoiler zone. So I'm sorry if you haven't played Final Fantasy VIII.
Well, and even if you're spoiler averse, I think we'll be talking about more like stuff that's not even terribly related to the games themselves, and stuff to maybe hope you enjoy the game more. So it's my hope that someone would listen to this and want to go check out something like Silent Hill or Final Fantasy VIII or what have you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess we'll just like before we enter each topic, we'll be like, okay, this is if you haven't played Silent Hill, go away, go home.
But yes, what can you tell me about the Squall is dead theory?
And,
also,
and for the record, I have not played Final Fantasy VIII. Even I know about this fucking thing, so it's just famous.
I was gonna say when I said like if you haven't played FF8, just raised your hand. I was like, oh crap. Well,
like taking off my headphones, like I'll be back.
No, well, actually, for this, the good thing about this one is we can keep it spoiler free because it happens very early on. There's a scene at the end of disc 1 when Edea, the sorceress, like fires a shard of ice at Squall, and it like pierces his chest. Like I think it goes through him and everything.
Yeah.
And he just like collapses. Everything goes black. You insert disc 2, and you wake up in Galbadia prison, and Squall is fine. Like there's nothing. He even mentions like, oh, where's the giant hole in my chest? And for some reason, fans have latched onto this moment. As time went on, fans have latched onto this moment as like, oh, something happened here. Because the game does a terrible job of explaining the in-between transition between Disc 1 and Disc 2, which is something you're gonna have to accept in FF8. They're just not gonna explain certain things. But yeah, people have kind of attached to that moment and were like, oh, Squall died, and here's our evidence, and it's a single frame of the end cutscene, like the very end FMV, where they just like constantly like do some flashbacks to like moments in the game, and if you just freeze it for like a frame, there's one shot of Squall, and it's his face is completely empty. It's like a void. It looks like a black hole in his face, like his it's gone, and it's like.
I thought it was just I didn't know that was actually part of the game. I thought that was just an edgy thumbnail. So
no, that was a like a quick cut, like blink and you miss it. It's because the ending is like piecing together what happens in certain parts of the game, and it's like flash cut. And if people find this one screenshot and it's like, there, that's it, confirmed, Squall is dead.
Like something that I really think is common in a lot of these like theories in general, like across the whole board of all these different ones, is that a lot of them come from applying real world rules to something that may not have that going on for them. Like, how many anime characters get sliced right through and they're fine the next day? It happens all the time in anime. Like, you know, like, how can this character possibly get from point A to point B? They must not be real. This must be a dream. And it's like, maybe it's a fucking game and not everything needs to be explained to you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe real world rules don't apply to these things. But continue.
Also, even internal rules. Like, this is from the series that, like, you constantly die in battle and just throw a feather on someone and they're fine.
Right.
Okay,
and
yeah,
the
I
previous
was
game
gonna
had someone
get
get
into
stabbed
this.
and died turbo dead.
This is also a early in this game. You're like training because your plot of FF8 is that you're kind of the students are kind of like a SWAT team trying to like fight sorceresses. The training room features like giant monsters. There's a giant T-Rex in the school, and these are like this is the game obviously telling you like don't think about it too hard because it doesn't make sense.
Like you also fight a hockey team later, don't you?
Oh my god, yeah, you do.
So, you know, you got the whole gamut. I haven't even played this fucking thing. I know there's a hockey team in it, and I didn't know there was a T-Rex in
Final
it.
Fantasy VIII is bonkers, I swear to God.
I'm changing
rules.
the mid-segment bit to, like, naming random bullshit you fight in Final Fantasy games, and you have to, like, judge. Like, hockey team, train, house, you know. One of these are fake, one of these are real.
God, I'm trying to remember. Was it really a hockey team? This game is such a fever dream. And it's not even the wildest thing that happens in the game either. But yeah, for some reason, this is kind of like a branch of a larger tree, I guess, where people try to figure out things that aren't there just because there might be like one thing that's not really explained, or there might be like an impetus or like some inner motivation of trying to figure out what is the darkness here. Like, is there something creeping that I don't know? And it becomes kind of an obsessive venture. And then other people engage with it and motivate each other into like going down this rabbit hole that they dug themselves. You know, not to immediately go into like, this is all wrong, but I don't know what else to say about it, honestly.
It's a valid community activity, I feel. It's one way to enjoy something communally is to make shit up about it sometimes.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Like, you know, like schoolyard rumors and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like, my uncle
that's
works
what
for
it was.
Nintendo. You know, like, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I guess when, like, how do you draw the line of, like, when is it just a fun read and when is it just too far?
I guess
That's a good question. I don't know.
I guess it's when like I know exactly when it's too far. When people start treating it as fact and you can't even argue against it because they like convince themselves it's true, even with like any evidence you may have of like, well, no, our guest in the Final Fantasy Part 2 episode, Andrew Blewett, brought up a good point precisely about this theory. How does this fit into the themes of the game? Like, how does this enrich the narrative in any way other than like, oh, it's just cool and edgy and dark? It plays no role in what the game is actually trying to say, and it kind of diminishes the every other character in that participates in the story because well, now that Squall's dead, does that mean that like Selphie never grew up as a person? Does that mean that like Zell never hooked up with the library chick? Like, what is all this? You know? And I guess that's where it's like, I mean, it's fun, but also like you kind of have to treat it like a fun thing. Like, it's not that serious. Like,
yeah,
like,
being militant in fandom is just not a fun way to be as a person.
Exactly.
Well, and I didn't
speak
know
from I speak from experience. I used to be one of those guys.
God, yeah.
Oh, now I'm curious.
That's something we're going to have to be like very empathetic on. Is I think a lot of the people that are doing this are going to be younger, that maybe haven't seen a lot of stories like this, and it does require a little bit of patience to kind of filter out some of the weirder takes, because kids got a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's exciting to be like, I've figured something out, and it's something
That's what it is. Yeah.
and no one else has figured out because I'm real smart about it. You know.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
I can't remember the podcast, but I remember like hearing people talk about Majora's Mask, and like the reason that game hit so hard for a lot of kids is that a lot of the times you play a game and it's very clear what it's about. And Majora's Mask is one of those few that like it's about something, but the game doesn't really tell you what that is.
Mm-hmm. It's also like a game that has a lot of small uncanny things in it, like way more than the predecessors did. Like there's a ton of examples sprinkled around from previous Zelda games. It's like, that's spooky and weird, what the fuck is that doing here? I feel like Majora's Mask was like, there was a lot of weird shit in that game, and it's really easy to grab onto and be like, whoa, that's interesting, what the fuck is that weird thing, and just spin yarns about what it could possibly be.
Okay.
Especially when you're taking it kind of literally, because I didn't know about that like Black Void face thing with Squall. And that is a bit weird, but like the game is also about like memories and finding yourself, and that seems a little bit more thematically consistent with maybe that entire big chunk of the game.
Right, and if you pay attention to the story, and okay, to be fair, Final Fantasy VIII is all over the place. Like Jess mentioned, Majora's Mask having little hints and little like it kind of like fuels the fire a little bit with that line of thinking. But Final Fantasy VIII also does that, but unintentionally, just because it's such a weird and like all over the place kind of game that people try to make sense of it all, and you can't. You just can't. Yeah. It was I always tell this to Kyle. Final Fantasy VIII was like Squaresoft going, let's see what sticks, and it all stuck. They threw everything at the wall, and they were like, yeah, keep it. And to make sense of it all, they have to find like something that doesn't really make a lot of sense either. And I guess that's like where I'll be a little sympathetic, where it's like, yeah, it's not their fault that the game is kind of not written the best way.
Yeah, the localization had zero time and budget, even though they were like really trying to push it as like a major thing, like a major franchise. And I think it's interesting that the crux of this comes at like a disconnect between Disc 1 and Disc 2, because without knowing too much about the game's development, like you probably had different people writing the end of Disc 1 and the end of Disc 2, and I know for a fact that like there were points in Final Fantasy IX where they were like, we got to come up with something dramatic to happen at the end of this disc, because it's not going to feel right as a story if you just like go through a checkpoint and to the new town and it's just like, cool, disc 3. It's gonna feel weird. Like you need it to have like a nice closing point.
Oh, I see.
And like so much of game development is unseen compromises and stuff like that. Like there is no like true untainted artist's vision like for a video game, almost certainly, unless it's a single developer, and even they're going to make some fucking compromises where it's like, I don't know, this is out of my scope, like the game's not going to come out if I do this thing I want to do. But it's like, I feel like something with like Majora's Mask, for example, is that game came out, it had like a 1-year dev cycle, something insane like that, and it reused a ton of stuff from Ocarina of Time. And like, because it's just like, that makes sense to do. If you want to have something out in that amount of insane short dev time, you got to do that. And that in and of itself is like part of some Majora's Mask theories that the whole game is like a dream or something like that, because it's so weird that all these reoccurring characters are here, but they're different. So like, this must be fake, right? Like this whole place is a dreamscape, because it makes no sense that like Malin, or however you pronounce her fucking name, is here also, but she's also on a farm, but she's different. They have
to make sense of that.
Yeah, it doesn't. The thing that makes the most sense is actually like this isn't a conspiracy. It's just convenient that they're there for the devs.
I guess that's like another point for like, don't take this so seriously. Like, the devs did not think about it this hard. They were just like, we just need to we need to make a game in a year. Import all these assets from Ocarina of Time. Okay, that's half the job done.
Yeah.
There's no deeper meaning to it. Same with like the one still frame of Squall's empty face. It was like devs were probably thinking, well, it'll look cool.
That looks cool. Yeah.
It'll look cool. And there's like I don't want to get too much into it, but there is a thematic reason why it's there too. But a lot of Final Fantasy VIII is just there because I'm pretty sure the devs were like, that's cool, let's do it.
Or how much of it is left over from like another idea that it's like, well, we can use most of this. And sometimes the seams might not fit perfectly.
Something I do want to get into for this, the whole like character is dead theory, is how present it is in like other media, especially around this time. Sometimes character being in a coma, sometimes character like for some reason there's this like darkness to like a thing that happens or trying to explain away. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Rugrats version of this.
Oh my god, yeah. I tried looking up some good like copy paste type of thing that was in a response to that like, if you're so obsessed with characters being in comas, it feels like you're unable to appreciate like the world around you, such that you have to make up a darker, weirder version of it.
Yeah, and the reason the Rugrats one gets me in a tizzy, I guess, it's like do they really need to explain why the kids can talk and Angelica can hear them like that badly? Like, does it not have?
Do you want to watch the show where that doesn't work?
Yeah, like I don't. What do you want? Like,
literally for children. It's on Nickelodeon. Like, you don't need to apply those kinds of rules to this. I also like that like a lot of these I think it's funny that it's like, oh, a person was dead the whole time or in a coma the whole time. I think like a lot of, the younger people that jump to that, they don't realize that that's like really cliche. Like that's like a really overused, boring thing to do actually, but like they haven't seen it very often. So they've seen it for the first time, blows their fucking mind. It's the coolest thing they've ever heard of. So they're going to try to apply it to like everything they like now.
So I was doing a little bit of research on like, what is the history of like the dead the whole time stories? And I don't know exactly like the invention of it, but like it goes pretty far back to like the occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge is a really early example of that. And you know what I noticed about stories that are famous for like the dead the whole time thing? They all tell you they're fucking dead.
They're like so explicit about it. You're so right.
Yeah. So tell me more, because like I didn't know about this story at all. Because I didn't go to America school.
Yeah, this I feel like is a somewhat common short story that gets shown in like late middle school, early American high schools, I would say.
Yeah, around there.
But for those not in the know, an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
Isn't it like a Civil War era thing?
Yes. Yeah, it's by Ambrose
all I
Bierce.
Okay.
It's a Civil War short story about a Confederate soldier who is betrayed by his poor scouts. Skill issue, get good. GG loser.
Also, spoiler alert for
for the Civil War.
for something written 200 years ago or whatever.
But yeah, basically he is about to be hung. And
hanged, technically. Hanged.
Yeah, when
that's like one of my least favorite like English pedantic things. Like hanged, actually. It's like, shut the fuck up. Sorry, I did it to you, so I should shut the fuck up.
But it's
Pockets
funny
monster.
There is a difference, though.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry. Go on. Let's not go into this.
He's about to be hung. The character is put upon a noose and falls from said noose into the river, is shot at, is swept away, finds their way into like the gates of their home. I want to say like they get there and no one's there. It's all very like eerie and dreamlike. There's a lot of emphasis placed on like the sun and like sounds and sensations. And it basically just ends with like, no, he was hanging the whole time. He was just hanging to death, dying. And these are like the weird things that his brain is doing that are stretching and dilating time and memories. And like the last sentence is turbo explicit. Like the character name is dead.
Yeah, I think that is the categorical like this isn't a theory. I feel like if an author wants that to be the story, they will just say it. This is the example I thought was like the culprit was The Sixth Sense, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. A lot of people say it's his only good movie.
Not true. But whatever.
Let's go. Do we have M. Night Shyamalan defenders in chat?
He's a little okay sometimes. Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate the guy.
Listen, I got nothing.
The beach that makes you old.
The beach that makes you old.
It's not that bad.
Okay, I think Unbreakable was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
This is a neat little movie.
We'll do a separate podcast about defending M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, let's go.
I had to work at a theater while the that Trees one was in there, and even I'm like, listen.
The Trees one? The Happening?
Trees one?
The happening, yeah.
You fucking just called it the Trees one?
And we all knew what I was talking about. So I've seen like the worst of his stuff, and even I'm still like, listen, we're a bit harsh on Shyamalan here.
Oh my god.
I mean, what's happening?
Not the one where everyone's spontaneously committing suicide. That's not the
Happening is like
thing.
the worst one.
I love that fucking thing. It's so bad.
Okay, yes.
Can't be. It's so dumb.
In that sense, okay, I did make my wife watch The Happening and then told her nothing about it. I was a very mean person back then. But she didn't know what to make of it. It's the correct response to this movie. Anyway, yeah, the thing is that not Signs. Oh my god, yet another plot.
Another pretty good one.
We really could make a fucking episode on this. The Sixth Sense was a lot of people's introduction to foreshadowing through like symbolism and imagery, because there's a it's a story that at the end it is very explicitly said, oh, by the way, spoilers for Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis is dead the whole time, and he did not know this. And they show you exactly the moment when it happened. They go back to every scene where...
flashback, right?
Yeah, they flash back to like every scene where it's like, oh, he wasn't actually talking to his wife the whole time. He actually wasn't talking to these people. They were just talking to someone else around him. And you know, it honestly, it was very brilliantly choreographed to make it every scene look like he was there. But then the reveal is like, no, actually he wasn't. And it makes sense. And I think that this movie was huge. I think this was like a lot of people's first time going like, oh shit, the clues were all there. We had to look for them.
Yeah, and going back through that film enriches the experience, even if you know the story.
Yeah, it's a nice little rewatch. Yeah, because you do go through.
That's so funny that at the children's performance, the guy's like camcordering the back of Bruce Willis's head.
Yeah,
he's not in the way.
Yeah, and it's things you didn't really pick up on until you rewatch them. But one of my favorite things is that there's a lot of color use in the clues. Like everything that's red is something Bruce Willis interacts with when he's dead. Like the few things physical things that he does touch, somehow there's like red involved in them, and it's like that's the movie telling you like red. We associate red with death, like. And that I don't know. It was neat, and there's a featurette at the end of the movie where M. Night Shyamalan like just spells it all out for you because he's so proud of it, and people were like, "Oh my god, I didn't know! Wow, that's so cool! You're a genius!" And I have a feeling this was kind of like how it started, at least for like the younger, like us like elder millennials when we were young. I feel like this is what kind of started that. This is completely just conjecture and me being like tinfoil hat like conspiracy theory, but this is I don't know, I really do feel like that was a lot of people's first exposure, and then they went crazy and like, what else who else is dead? I want to know.
Ash Ketchum, he's dead.
Oh my god, Ash Ketchum. Oh my! I had to correct myself because I thought it was like Ash Ketchum is dead, but no, he's in a coma.
There's multiple ones. For
wait,
sure.
Okay. I always think of the one where he like got shocked by Pikachu or something, and then he's like in the hospital, and I don't know.
I was reading that whole page that you sent me. I was like, oh, that's why Officer Jenny's the same woman every time. It's not that it's a fucking joke.
It's not that we have to paint the cells of animation, and god damn it, I'm not changing this.
It's not that it's based
joke.
on a video game where every Pokemon Center character is the same nurse sprite.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we go straight into our next topic then? What can y'all tell me about dark and twisted Pokemon theories?
This is the next topic. Damn.
Nice. I accidentally segued us.
I know, we do this so often. It's great.
Cool.
Almost like we intended for it. But yeah, there's going to be a lot that are specifically for the anime. Like you said, the whole Ash is in a coma. Oh, Brock represents his suppressed sexuality.
So you read it too.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But even within the video games, there's a lot of like people trying to dig out or flesh out all the like potentially dark things in these games. Do y'all know some of these?
Yeah, there's like stuff with like Lavender Town mostly because
Lavender Town is a big
it's
one.
so spooky, you know. I feel like all the ones I know like kind of have that as a focal point.
I forgot
Lavender
about
Town.
Lavender Town being like a big thing.
Yeah, especially the first game. I would say like there's Lavender Town, and like you kill Gary's Raticate.
What?
This is the big one. Oh, you don't know this
Right,
one?
he stops using the Raticate after a certain point in the game, right? He never shows up
Yeah.
with that fucking Pokemon again.
What the fuck?
In like the SSN fight or something, he's got Eradicate, and the next time you see Gary, it's in the top of the tower for all the Pokemon graves, and he doesn't have Eradicate. So when you
Hell
fight
yeah.
him, people are like, "Was he mourning Eradicate? Did you kill his Eradicate?"
I did not know this.
Well,
I'm like, dog, I squirted it. It didn't.
Well, the Raticate clearly died in the anime events of the SSN, where the SSN has a huge like Titanic situation happen, right?
Oh my
happen?
god. It kind of did. I remember Gyarados did
Yeah, they buy the Magikarp, and then it evolves, and
then they have to escape on a little boat on a
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Oh man. Y'all are blowing my mind with this Raticate shit, though. I never heard of it.
Another one is people are always trying to explain the origins of Cubone, being like, "Oh, it's you think it's a Kangaskhan baby, but it's actually a Charmander with its tail burned out."
Tragic.
Okay, I heard of these. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the Cubone helmet, I guess, kind of looks like a Charizard skull.
Yeah,
These people point out the little spikes on the side
The
don't really
antlers.
resemble any other Pokemon.
Also, just like the life cycle of this Pokemon comes into question by its very nature. It's like, it's a Cubone. It wears its mother's skull on its head. And it's like, okay, what does that mean for like the reproductive cycle of this species? If like they have to have this thing happen to, like, when they have a baby, do they die immediately? Like, what?
Yeah,
what does this mean?
imagine a bird, and if
They-
it wears a
they
little
all
hat,
have
it's
a
a
dead
completely
mom?
different bird.
Like, they all have a dead mom. Every single one of them.
Every
So what do
single
they
one
look
of
like without the hat? Like,
And this is yet again like the devs didn't really think about that.
No.
They're just like, it would be cool if this one had a skull on its head.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Pokemon
think-
theories. Damn.
I think a lot of them too, like they take away the interesting thing, like because Pokemon's like this whole there's species and genuses, they're based on real animals, and like there's cool things you can do there with like, oh, you know, what would it look like for this animal to like take the bones of its deceased and like wear them? That'd be a cool character
That's
design.
So creepy.
I don't know, it takes away the fun artistry of that when you need like a very like lore heavy, textually represented, like in-universe explanation for everything.
Mm-hmm.
See, you know what I think? I'm glad you brought up Pokemon now, because this is a good example of like media or like video games that are made for like a younger audience, and as that younger audience grows, they feel like they don't want to let go of that comfort, so they find ways to engage with it in a mature sense, or what they think is a mature sense. So in comes like all the edgy theories and all the dark interpretations of simple things.
Yeah, Pokemon is forced to grow with me because I'm grown now, and it needs to be as dark and edgy as I am.
Yeah, and it's this like, and I do kind of sympathize here, because it is like this coming to terms with the fact that you are growing and this thing isn't, and you have to kind of cope with the fact that, you know, everyone's gonna make fun of you for playing Pokemon when you're a kid. So you gotta justify, like, no, it's cool actually. It's like dark
And
stuff.
part
in
of the
it.
reason Pokemon is cool is it is a little spooky. It's a little weird. But I do think it's that like my biggest sticking point on this is like it seems to be such a beloved tradition of making Pokemon darker than it actually is, when it's like, if you want that, if you desperately want dark Pokemon, they make those. They're called Shin Megami Tensei. They've existed for years. Y'all, there's a treasure trove for you.
And when you're a teen, before preteen, you can get into Digimon, which has some more darker elements than Pokemon does.
Oh yeah, Digimon has like a devil in it, like literally.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for it.
I was just wondering, like, I feel like all of these things we're talking about are Japanese sourced, basically, and I'm wondering, like, are there any like purely American? Rugrats came up though. Purely American things that like have spooky elements in them, like on purpose. That's like a little bit, because I feel like just like Japan as a society has like a different relationship with death and like the reality of it and stuff like that. And like you live with a shrine in your house to your dead loved ones. You acknowledge that death exists. So I feel like maybe a lot of this like theory crafting from the Western fans that I know, I'm under the impression that a lot of these like spooky theories are from kids like me in America, mostly. I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm wondering if like this is like a different culture of children interpreting another culture of children's like thing that doesn't even like they don't even bat an eye at.
Yeah, the things that wouldn't be weird for them might stand out a little bit more odd as you. Why are they eating balls of rice? That's crazy.
Those are donuts.
I wonder, I actually have not thought about this, and now I'm like, okay, because only recently do we get like Thomas the Tank Engine creepypasta, but that wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't really like.
Does death exist in Thomas the Tank Engine?
No, they're trains.
You know?
It certainly does it, because if you misbehave in that world, they like cask of Amontillado your ass.
I don't know what that means, but I don't know if I want to know what that means. I'll expose myself as the resident Thomas the Tank Engine fan. I can tell you no trains die. They do get old, but no one ever dies. And to me, like the recent surge of like, well, not recent, it's kind of come and gone, but the surge of Thomas the Tank Engine creepypasta is like strange to me, because that show doesn't really give room for any of that dark and scary shit. And I wonder if it's more of a, because this happened to Winnie the Pooh as well, where it's like, let's just take this thing that is on its face extremely wholesome. Yeah, like there's nothing hinted at like a darkness of it. I mean, there are the heffalumps in Winnie the Pooh that are kind of creepy. And I guess people can run miles with that, but there's this, I don't know, when it comes to just like American media, I think it's more of this like intentional corruption of a thing for the sake of, I don't know, memes.
I wonder if like, I don't know, like wholesomeness coming up, like it's like these things are clearly made for children, and I wonder if just like a lot of children's media is a little like uncanny because it is so like dumbed down and like for that audience, and like it can come off as a little off kilter. Like Thomas the Tank Engine is a little spooky in that like people are talking, nothing is animating, like it's little
these
diorama
trains
world
have
and stuff
faces.
like that.
Yeah,
faces,
the more
like,
you think about
weird.
it, the weirder it is.
They are like gray clay
you look at like
faces.
you look at like Blue's Clues, and it's like, who is he talking to? Steve is insane. Like it's like, no, it's for fucking 4-year-olds, guys.
Oh shit, I forgot about the Blue's Clues. Oh my god, Steve is mourning his dog who passed away. Oh, that was a real thing. Oh
my god.
Yeah, and it's like, it's one of these, like, I would understand the Lavender Town stuff more, because it's like, yeah, that is an intentionally spooky area. There are ghosts that you don't know what it is when you first enter Lavender Town, because every other time you're encountering a Pokemon, then you just see a literal ghost. It says ghost appeared. And you're like, oh my god, and it spooks you because you're a kid. But Blue's Clues is like, what part of this made you think, oh, there's something going on here. I need to know.
Yeah. Well, and is that not, especially for someone growing, the most tantalizing thing, that like something that is like safe and for you is like secretly like dark or dangerous, and as you're, a kid learning the rules of this world, it is so fascinating to see like, oh no, they can be broken. Like things can be dangerous, I guess, even though they're safe.
Oh my god, maybe it is like and to be fair, I don't want to like generalize and use a broad brush here. Some people are probably just having fun with that shit.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, yeah, that's probably what most cases are. But maybe there is this like coping with the reality of things not being so saccharine, so like safe, you know, like maybe there is like a level of cope. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Like like people are actually coping with something dark in their lives, and it translates to like the media they consume.
Yeah,
even
it's
if it's like for kids.
It's a very safe way to have a very like nihilistic or dark view on something, because it's built around something that's a bit more nurturing. And yeah, you're right. Most of it is probably just having fun. And to be fair, you know, we've just out of Winnie the Pooh and Thomas the Tank Engine, we got Choo-Choo Charles, and we got people flocking to that Silent Hill Winnie the Pooh game.
Oh my god.
I feel, you know, this is all very reminiscent of like campfire stories. Like kids like to scare other kids. It's fun to scare each other.
Yeah.
And so it's like, let's take this thing that's familiar and everyone knows as a baseline for reference for us all, and like twist it into something fucked up. That's why so many of these like stories, it's like, oh, everyone knows Lover's Lane, so I'll make a scary story about a hook hand man and all this shit. And so you have this like shared cultural bonding experience scaring your friends. And I feel like it's just kind of evolved to include modern media, video games and all that shit.
That's probably what it is, yeah.
And you know, this comes up a lot though, the relationship between horror and comedy. It's all set up and punchline. There's an expectation and a twist on that. And so yeah, to have it be like Rugrats but freaky is like it's a very clear like 1-2. I have a safe, calm, nurturing thing, and like no, it's actually evil, and that it makes for a very clear contrast.
I think Jess is right though, but for the most part it probably is just like, oh, I want to scare my friends. And
oh yeah.
Maybe one person does get really scared, and then they're like, oh no, it's true. It's all real. And then here we are.
Yeah.
All right.
I think people just have this desire to like, they have to know why. There has to be an explanation for it. Something that's always really grounded me on this too is, and I tried looking up like a firsthand source for this, but if I remember correctly, on the DVD commentary of FLCL, there one thing that's like pretty famous for like trying to like find the answer to is Mamimi's cigarette says never knows best, and you never see like fully what that says or why it says that. It's just that she has writing on her cigarettes, and the directors were commenting on that and how people were really seriously wondering what that meant. And it was based off of like an ad they saw with some cigarettes with writing on it, but also like one of the directors just said like, well, it just felt right. And that one, I'm really glad that like as a teen developing my taste, I saw that, because it let me see that sometimes artists, when they're making their work, don't have a concrete answer for why they're putting in what they do, but they have the skills and taste to know that it fits right for the universe. Pokemon, I think, works better having things being a little uncanny, having things being a little spooky. They might not have 100% like canonical explanation for that, but the artists like know that, you know, in an animal world influenced by Shintoism and Japanese culture, like having a little bit of death in there just feels probably a little right.
I see.
And ghost-type Pokemon can be your friends.
Yeah.
They're not all scary.
Yeah, you're right. Doesn't that make it all the more exciting that you can tame the spirits of the dead?
You can have a relationship with death. It's not necessarily terrible. I think that's sweet.
And then that gives more room for self-expression of like, I want the cute ones. I want the spooky ones.
I want to be friends with Gengar.
Yeah.
He looks like he can party, that guy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Gengar asked me if I was cool, and I stammered, and then he bought weed from one of my friends. And...
Gengar.
That's why his eyes are red.
Oh my god. Oh, there we go. We have our theory.
We're cracking the case.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we move on from Jess? What can you tell me about Silent Hill lore?
Oh, here we go.
Too much. I can tell you too much. I'm not going to tell you all that much because they'll be here for 8 hours. You know, there's two schools. If you want to be really, really binary about the types of Silent Hill fans that I grew up with on the internet, it's people that like the cult stuff and people that like the psychological horror stuff. And like the games, the original 4, at the time it was up to only 5. That's how old I am. Now they're up to like 10 or 9 or something technically. But like they were all made by one team, Team Silent, But this team had constant cast and crew changes the whole time. It's never been a consistent team, so you're dealing with developers that are ever-changing, have different like ideas about what Silent Hill is like and all that stuff. So the Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all pretty different from each other. Like, the first one is a PlayStation 1 game. It's very, like, a Japanese take on Stephen King and American horror and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see this familiar-ish thing through a new lens, an Eastern lens. Super interesting. Like, everybody was either being a racist jerk about Japan around then or being, like, very intrigued by the exoticness of the East. Oh my gosh. And it's like, okay, that one has like a bunch of like cult cool shit and demonic shit. Like, oh wow, I'm a fledgling goth. This is cool. And it's like a little complicated too, because not everything is stated out and out to you. There is a character that lies about the religion, like, to your face, and a lot of people thought that was just true, and it's like, well, then she said this, and it's like, yeah, she's the bad guy, she was fucking lying to you, dude. Like, play the game and pay attention. But and then, like, there was some like I think they heard like the fan blowback, like, this cult stuff's too confusing, and that was like the feedback that the Team Silent got. I'm under the impression. So then the sequel, Silent Hill 2, is not a sequel. It is a standalone thing about this sad guy who misses his dead wife and gets a letter from her to go to this town as if she's alive, and he's going searching for someone who's fucking dead. And that one is like very, very dark. It plays with your expectations of like what a protagonist is supposed to be like, and like it rocked my world because I was fucking 15, 16 years old, and it's like I've never seen or played or anything a game that doesn't tell me exactly what's going on all the time and holds my hand through the whole thing. And I've never seen anything that, like, you're following a protagonist and they're not a hero. They're not the best person alive.
Yeah, they're not like, entirely honest either.
Yeah,
like, you don't know what you're even seeing and what is true or not.
Yeah, like an unreliable narrator was not something I was familiar with at the time. So it's like, okay, this is my hyperfixation for the rest of my life because that's what happens. But and like people, like when that game came out, the complaint was, this isn't a real sequel. What the fuck? Where's Harry? Where's Harry Mason? What happened with that?
Where's Cheryl?
And so it's like, okay. All right, well, I guess we'll go back to that shit. So then the third one was about that shit, and then the feedback was like, oh, but I liked Silent Hill 2. I liked that it was like about this one guy experience in this weird place, and it didn't have to do with all this confusing cult bullshit again. And it's like, oh my god. So I guess the fourth one will be a little about the cult, and like it just felt like a reaction every time it came out, and like an overcorrection almost. And it's really wacky. It was a wacky fandom to be in because you had these people that had very different ideas about what this game is about, what it should be about, what it is like, what's a real Silent Hill game, man. And then development went to the West, and everyone agreed that was bad. So that was the unifying moment for the fandom was like, oh, we shouldn't have been fighting about this. Like, this is way worse.
Jess, my hottest take is that, yes, I will concede to you that Shattered Memories is a bad Silent Hill game, but I think as a game in and of itself, it's fine.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
I like some of the things that it does, I think is kind of cool.
I like some of the things it did. I think it just like it overplayed how subtle it was. It was very unsubtle. I think.
No, but I think without that game, we would have gotten all the cool stuff in what was that PS4 horror mystery game?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten Until Dawn without that game. So.
You think so?
I think they directly reference the inspiration of the therapist that you keep visiting.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think most of the game is a little clunky and on the nose, but the therapist segments are just so fucking cool. So anyway, sorry, I had to be a point of contention there.
That's fine. Absolutely.
So the big difference between like the theories we discussed earlier and these that we're gonna get into have more to do with like the story that's being told and how people interpret it. Correct?
What I think is interesting, too, is that I took for granted how much the staff is changing in each game. So, like, how can you... The lore is going to be such a whiplash when you have new people reinterpreting it or choosing not to reinterpret it every single time.
Yeah, and, like, the fandom, I think, kind of had this idea... And again, this is back in the day, like, early aughts situation. Like, I feel like the fandom had this idea that there was like literally a lore Bible that said everything about like the secrets of the cult, because they really don't tell you a lot. There's a lot of gaps in that lore that are it's enigmatic. Like, what the fuck is this talking about? What a weird, wacky, demonic-ish religion. And so there's a lot of fan conjecture about like what all this shit means, like their name dropping, like these crazy Kabbalah words and stuff, like really obscure stuff. And it's like, why did they use that word? Well, it's from the Kabbalah. It's like, you read this like ancient Jewish text and stuff like that. It's like, man, it's because like the Japanese dev team thought that word sounded fucking cool, dude.
The director at the time thought it felt right, and they're correct.
Right, yeah. But like, the idea is that like, the devs know everything about the cult, and they have a literal fucking Bible about it, and they're just letting us read like page 2 and page 16, and like there's tons of stuff they must know and must have already written out because they're the authors, the authority, the authorial intent of everything rests on their shoulders as the people who made this thing. And it's like, it took me so long to realize like that's bullshit. Very, very, very few creators of anything fictional especially have any idea what the final thing is going to look like. Like, how many writers know exactly how the ending is going to be when they're making the thing? Toby Fox, for one. a rarity. We'll come up on that soon, I bet. But it's like, the creative process is messy and improvisational, and like it's super fun to think of all these like secret things we're not being let in on that obviously these bosses must know about, and they're keeping us in the dark, but I'm figuring out what they definitely are keeping from me. It's like, that's like a totally false premise.
Yeah, how many stories crashed and burned because there were like ironclad notes of how the ending had to be, and oh shit, we have to get there, versus a story that's more flexible, that was able to evolve and lead to some of those same points, but figure out like what the story was in the process.
Yeah, and like there's things even in Silent Hill 2 that hit the cutting room floor way early. Like the mocap and voice director Jeremy Blaustein and translator also, he was like unofficially part of Team Silent because they would run past him as an American certain topics, be like, is this like an okay topic to cover in America? Like, is it okay if we do like an abortion plot? And he was like, no, don't do that. And so they didn't do it. Like, if he wasn't around, maybe there would be like a fucked up sad abortion subplot in Silent Hill 2. So
that game has no shortage of messed up dark plots too. So
yeah, right. Let's add some more to the pile. But yeah, it's not something that is so set in stone as we think. Growing up, at least.
Yeah,
we attain that nuance as adults, I think.
I mean, that does get into a thing I think is why these fan theories tend to be born. Is because like I think people do give too much credit to like the devs and scenario writers and all this for having, like what you said, the lore Bible, when in reality a lot of it was just like, well, we just want to tell a story, and what happens around it is less important. It's kind of really dressing sometimes even. And there's this I'll get to it quick, but like there's this feeling of like, what are they hiding from me? And like I can be smart enough to figure this out, that I think does play into the dynamic between like the media and the consumer, like or I should rather say player, that motivates people to be like, let's figure this out, because I think they're hiding something, and I don't know why that becomes like the like the fire, like the spark.
Yeah, it's a big that community draw.
Yeah, it's like, how do we all figure this out? Because something is there's something hiding, and sometimes it does like bring results. Sometimes people do find things together, and they're like, oh shit, we now know this because we all like figured it out. But sometimes there really isn't there, and maybe the sunk cost becomes like more important, and it's like, well, I'm gonna have to make something up so that all this time wasted means something, you know?
I remember something that was funny about the Silent Hill fandom in the early aughts is that we had this idea that we were like smarter than all the other horror fandoms. Like Resident Evil is for people dumber than the Silent Hill fans because Silent Hill doesn't hold your hand. So you know, it was really bizarre.
Right. What, like, of all the things to compare yourself to, like the Resident Evil, I guess the other Japanese horror game that was big at the time.
That was the big one, for sure.
It's the neighboring campus, so.
But Resident Evil really is, like, the Hollywood version of that. Like, what is there to figure out other than, like, who had the virus in Resident Evil 2? Like...
Yeah, every single Resident Evil is just like, you know, reductively, big corporation evil. And so we were like, we're a little more sophisticated. Ours is religion evil. You know?
That's so funny. This is the thinking man's game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
I'm much smarter and deeper because my horror game is about what if it was really scary when an American man ate too much ice cream.
Whoa.
What are you talking about? Oh god, I forgot his name.
Is Eddie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, Eddie! How could you sit there?
It was
and
pizza
eat
in the first one. He didn't eat ice cream in the original.
Oh, that's right. They
remake.
changed it. They changed it to
How
ice cream.
dare they? There's a lot of opinions about the changes, and I'm just like, I'm too old to care anymore. I feel freed from this burden of caring this much about this thing.
Wow. Now I got to think of, like, what did I care too much about in terms of, like, fan theory? Because I didn't really... Oh, I know, but we'll get into that later. We don't have to get into it now. Okay.
No, I was just gonna ask. I know, Jess, you were pretty positive on that remake. You felt like it was pretty faithful in the right ways. Like, did they reinterpret a lot of that stuff in a way that felt faithful and interesting? Is that why it landed so well?
Yeah, I feel like it's just realistically speaking, I wouldn't wish this project on my worst enemy. Yeah, modernize Silent Hill 2 for modern audiences, and
It happened.
like,
Bloober Team.
yeah, and
Everyone's
also
worst enemy.
Bloober Team is like almost our worst enemy, and it's just like, man, even I felt pity. I was like, that sucks, guys. They got their work cut out for them. Good luck with that. Like, and I was expecting less than nothing. So, I mean, my expectations were subterranean, so it's easy to impress me at that point. But, you know, I used to be a very hardcore, obstinate, annoying fan of Silent Hill about, like, you know, it's perfect the way it is. Everything is super intentional. Like, the voice acting is off kilter on purpose. And it's like, nah, man, there was just not a lot of English-speaking actors in Japan, so they found some fucking guy and whatever. You know, and like I talked to Jeremy Blaustein a bunch of times, and he was like, "Man, that guy couldn't act. He was awful.
No.
I could not direct that guy out of a paper bag. No. It was just it was torture working with that guy." Where was I going with this? What was the initial question? Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like this is a very, very tough thing to do, is to modernize this game that has a lot of flaws that people have decided are not flaws. They are an intrinsic part of the game. And it's like, I used to be one of those people. And the more I learned about game development, the more I was like, oh, those are happy accidents. And like, sure, they're totally part of the vibe of the thing. Mm-hmm. But if you were to recreate those accidents in modern times, people would just be like, why is this bad? Why did they fucked up? Why is this voice actor so bad? Like, you know, and it's just like, well, you'd have to make it bad on purpose, and then people are gonna be like, why did you do, ew, why did they sound like that? And it's just like, you know, nobody's gonna pay $60 for a game you can beat in 3 hours. So like, of course they have to make things longer and make more cutscenes than we originally had.
Which means
but like
more lore
yeah, you know, and they were pretty respectful of the lore. I don't think they added anything that was like, whoa, pump the brakes, that's wrong, you know. That steps all over this, whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
And like they treated the things that really needed a careful hand very well. Like all the Angela shit, I thought they did really, really, really good about. And she's like a very, very tragic, disturbed character. Lots of trauma stuff there. That's very, you know, tender stuff that you don't want to fuck around with. And you know, very, very sensitive topics. And it's like, oh, they did that as well as you probably could do, given the circumstances, and better than I thought they would. Nothing offended me the way I thought it would, because like Bloober Team is not known for handling sensitive subject matters very gracefully. So I was like, oh, they're gonna ruin this character. This is gonna be a nightmare. And the things that I cared about the most weren't fucked with. And it's just like, okay, yeah. And like the things they fucked with, I was like, no, that makes sense that you would fuck with that a little bit, And they like acknowledged old heads in the game very often. They had like they moved a lot of like where events happened to slightly different places, because the gameplay would flow better if they were in a different place. And every time they did that, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense that they would change that. That was kind of bullshit, actually. And I never, I was like, a teen, and I didn't have like this discerning eye for like, this gameplay is not great. Like this map layout is not fun to be on. And I keep getting lost. And it's like, it's
okay.
like, you can't just make that bad again in the future. No one's going to buy the fucking thing. So I thought it made sense. And it's like, I feel like, if it were me in my early 20s, I would have hated it. But I'm in my late 30s and I'm tired.
I'm 30 and 40 and I don't need this.
I don't need this.
Yeah. I'm glad people are turning around on it. I haven't played it yet because I am still in the I don't want to play the remake camp. But I am like, even my brother who loves Silent Hill 2, my youngest brother Leo, he was telling me like, no, actually this is neat. I don't hate it. He finished it. He's like, I played the whole thing and I'm fine with it. It's fine. And I'm like, oh damn, that's like, and now you're like the second person who's like, yeah, it's fine. We don't. Yeah. We can put down the pitchforks.
Like I can like count on one hand the changes they made that I was like, oh, that's a misstep. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
like, they shouldn't have changed the lighting of this scene because now you can see Pierre
Yeah.
too
no.
good. Like you shouldn't do that. That's a silly move. But like every other change they made was like either a lateral move or an improvement.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a miracle that happened. And I think we should be more grateful.
There you go. There you have it, folks. I do want to get into like specific theories with Silent Hill. And we can stick to 2 if it keeps it brief.
Yeah, let's stick to 2. I think that's also the one that has the most, but go ahead.
Probably, yeah. I feel like the big one that was like really contentious about the remake, actually, is that the remake kind of confirms a little too hard a fan theory that was about Silent Hill 2 that was really, really, really implied in one of the original endings. In one of the original endings, called Maria, James doesn't learn his lesson about the bad shit he did, and he takes his imaginary girlfriend out of Silent Hill and is like, we're going to live a happy life together. And then she like coughs as if she's getting sick. And he says really menacingly, you better do something about that cough. And then it just like, that's the end. And it implies that he hasn't learned and he's going to repeat his actions and come back here again, probably, because it's just going to replay what happened with his sick wife. Her sick wife is going to die again. He's going to be right back where he started this game again. So people are like taking that ending and being like, oh, in this ending, like there's an implied cycle here that he can't escape from until he learns his lesson. And like, that's totally cromulent theory that I think is cool, actually. And the remake has an ending that is a lot more explicit about like, that's what's going on. And it's a lot of people are like, oh, you don't confirm it. Like, oh man, now we can't like, bullshit about it, and, like, theorize about it because you confirmed it. But like, I think it's totally like fine, because it's like, I liked that theory to begin with. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, it aligns with what the game is saying.
Yeah, like I think it still makes sense, and I'm not offended by it at all. And it's just like, oh, but they like made an ending that's like so explicit about it, and there's hints throughout the game that are like really subtle hints that James has been here before. This is the umpteenth time he's been in this room, because if you look at the carpet of this particular room that the climax happens in, the carpet is completely dented with thousands of footprints of him having been in that room dozens and dozens of times already, and having seen this already, and decided not to accept what happened and did the whole thing over again.
Holy shit.
And it's like, oh, this is like the only room that has like drawers you can open and there's no ammo in them, because he's definitely been in this room dozens of times before. So there's some really cool shit that they did with that I think, makes this fine. Like, I think that's an artful, neat way to do it with all these little subtle little hints that you don't notice along the way. So
that's so
that's
cool.
one of them.
Yeah,
that's so cool though. Like, that's such a good gameplay way of saying something. Like, there's no ammo in this room. Like, I don't know. That's cool.
And like that's like a dark theory, but it's like it was in the game already. Like, so.
Well, I like the more they explain it, the kind of the less interesting it gets.
Yeah, because it's spelled out for you. It's no longer fun to figure out for your own. What's a theory that's like, I don't want to say controversial, but divisive maybe?
You want me to talk about boilers or what?
What? Okay.
Do we know about, or do we want to talk about circumcision?
Oh my god. I think that's only divisive with one man.
One guy who I like shamed off the internet, I guess. I don't know where this guy went. Hopefully to a psychiatrist or something. Felt bad for him.
Well.
But yeah, there was a guy on the Silent Hill wiki, which is like a bit of a laughingstock to some because it states very, very authoritatively a lot of things that are not factual or just like, theories or completely out of left fucking field, like the fact that Walter Sullivan, the murdering ghost man of Silent Hill 4, he's a vengeful murdering ghost, not because of what the game is saying, which is very directly that he has mommy issues.
Okay.
And he's trying to resurrect his mother with an occult ritual. So he's killing people from beyond the grave to fulfill the requirements of this crazy-ass ritual to bring his mom back to life, who he thinks is an apartment. Long story. But there's tons of symbolism that are like, it's clearly this is mommy stuff. All mommy stuff.
Sure.
No, says this guy. No. He's a crazed serial killer because he was circumcised as a baby, and that fucked him up for life. And that umbilical cord that is, totally canonical, and characters talk about this umbilical cord. That's not important. That's like penis related somehow. I don't know.
Where is this coming from?
Nothing. No place. The personal vendetta against
weird
the concept of circumcision. Yeah, very strong projection from this particular person that had an axe to grind with a social cultural thing that I personally don't agree with either, but I'm not ruining wikis over it.
Yeah.
Like making up crazy shit about video games. He did the same thing to the Xenogames.
No, what?
One of those wikis, yeah.
He did a circumcision thing for Xenosaga too?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And other stuff too that was, I forget what, but it was all over the place. There was a lot of like conspiracy theories things. But yeah, he thought that the devs of Silent Hill 2 were trying to like wake up the West about how like fucked up circumcision is. And it's like, that is out of any field I've ever heard of, way out of that field, man. That's a different sport. Japan does not care about that.
I don't think they do, no.
They don't do that in Japan at all. Why would they have an opinion about it? I'm pretty sure. But correct me in the comments about circumcision if I'm wrong. But, like, it was just really crazy. And somebody brought it to my attention, and they were just like, is this true about Walter Sullivan? And I was like, what the fuck is this?
And this was like in the wiki.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In the fan wiki, yeah. And it was just like, it was a mod that had gone mad. An admin that had gone mad. And like all the other admins and mods were like trying to talk him down, trying to fix it. And you could see like the edit history, on these pages was people like, very like level-headed being like, removed an odd tirade about circumcision and a cabal of conspiratorial doctors. It's like that, just removed that for not being entirely relevant. And then this mom would come back and like all caps screaming at this person that like, this is important, like all this crazy stuff. So that's a fan theory that went way out of, and he's literally the only person that has ever posited this thing. But because he was a moderator, he could put it on something that looked official and declare like, this is what happened.
Oh my god!
Wild.
This is making me want to play Silent Hill 4 more than anything I've heard about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good things to say about Silent Hill 4 otherwise than playing it and trying to squint and see circumcision like stuff in it and being like, no, that's That's mommy issue. What are you talking about, man? Literally, it's like, oh my God, in the hospital level that you're briefly in, there's forceps on the table.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, dog, those are in hospitals. What the fuck are you
yeah.
talking about?
Oh my goodness.
Of course there's some
This
forceps
is incredible.
there. Forceps, foreskin. Like,
Silent Hill 4?
Oh!
yeah, exactly. So, that guy was wacky and wild, and I hope he's doing better, honestly.
Yes,
I feel like
I think we all hope for
I
the
feel like I
best
bullied
here.
I bullied this man off the internet, and I feel a little bad about it, but hopefully he got the help he needed, because he had a very weird fixation.
That sounds like
did not seem healthy.
Personal fixation that you should probably find therapy for.
It was
jokes
like
aside.
not it was also like conspiratorial, like doctors are all in on it. They are gathering foreskins from babies for occult reasons.
Shit.
Like, it was like really crazy shit. I don't even know, man.
Well, you know what? Like
talking about the game anymore.
The fact that these games are they're speaking about darker natures of things and cults, that probably resonated with this person pretty strongly because it was about something that they were trying to figure out and apply to their own life, and
Right.
just took it
yeah.
way too far. Or they tried to manufacture authorial intent into something that I don't know, man. You just yes and it, and maybe live somewhere other than the wiki comments.
So weird.
Damn. Okay, well, let's lighten the mood with
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about boilers because we'll be here for all fucking day. This is a whole other thing.
Well, how about
no?
Just look up Silent Hill boiler theory. You'll find it. You don't need me to go on forever. But as a whole, just have a whole Silent Hill podcast for me, and then I'll talk about it on and on forever. I want to respect all of our time here, our listeners' time. They want to hear about other video games, I'm sure.
All right.
Well, why don't I lighten the moods with something I like to call game ratings? I'll present a category like Pokemon Middle Evolutions, games with tank controls, video game dads, and we're going to come up with something that's underrated, overrated, and accurately rated. Today's topic is games that are secretly dark.
What the shit?
Should I have done homework for this?
Yeah, now I'm like,
worries.
damn, I don't think of games that are secretly dark.
Well, here,
That
why
often.
don't I begin with an
okay.
underrated game that's secretly dark? Or sorry,
Yeah,
I will.
tell us what your
I'll
metric
do overrated first.
is. Okay.
Jorge, I think you can agree with me on this one. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
If you found something for you in Omori, I think that's wonderful and great. But I think that game takes so long to deliver on, kind of the more eerie and unsettling things that it just did not land for me. I think that is
Did
a lot of
you
people.
finish Amori?
I got pretty far into it, and then I
did not
watched
finish it.
videos of all the more explicit things that the game is actually about.
Okay. Then I'll let you finish because I do have thoughts about this, and I might actually steal your option too.
Yeah.
Your answer.
I'll keep it brief, but I will applaud the fact that the game is no, here's the story. Here's the character that has done a messed up thing, and the weird guilt and things that they're dealing with as a circle of friends and trauma that has affected them. There's no guesswork here. This is what the story is about. It just takes a long time to get to, and I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
That is exactly how I felt about it. There's, and I didn't actually finish it. I didn't even get that far. And I want to be nice to Amori because people I know worked on it. But
The artistry is fantastic.
But to be honest, yeah, that was exactly the issue I had with it, is that for all the engaging moments it has, especially that scene where you're going down an escalator or some stairs and something's following you, incredibly engaging moment. One of the scariest things I've ever seen in a video game. And then I am hit with 2 or 3 hours of just flavor text. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very.
What it essentially boils
here's
down
my fun
to
Tumblr OC
yeah,
design.
and this is my first. It has a lot of and I'm sorry for being mean, but it has a lot of baby's first RPG Maker game things in it, where it's every idea I have, I'm just gonna put into this game, and after a while I'm going but I want to know what the fuck is going on. You need to keep me engaged, and it's not engaging. I don't want to do all these mini games. I really don't.
I think it is fair to say that because that game had a lot of scope issues because it was
That's
a
what it was,
Kickstarter
yeah.
game and was in development for so long. That's
and I think they
fair.
felt pressured to make it longer for that reason. And I think that is what eventually becomes like all the fluff, all the filler in the game that kind of does a disservice to what it's actually trying to say, which is genuinely engaging. Even though I tend to take those subjects a little
You take them very seriously.
Yeah, I don't like when there's self-harm subjects that aren't treated with enough respect. So I take like I have to be very careful about like how I engage with this media. Like, is it glamorizing it? Is it like aestheticizing it? Like I hate that shit. So I have to be very careful. And because it took so long for me to confirm that, I just gave up on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to play it one day. I know it's not that long, so.
Well, Jess, do you have any games, underrated games that are under or overrated games that are secretly dark?
I don't know. I think like the ones I've played are rated correctly and people like them. Like, I don't know. Like Majora's Mask is really good. I don't know. But like, you know, Doki Doki Literature Club is really good. And it's like, you know, it looks like one thing, but actually it's another thing, and that was revealed very, very early. It's not really like it's a secretly dark thing. It's just, you know, fucking scary game. I guess like people don't realize how dark Psychonauts is.
Yeah.
No one really talks about that. And I
Especially
think like,
Psychonauts
that's, like,
1 is
yeah. There's like some fucked up shit. Like Mila's entire backstory is like really, really dark. And like when I finally played that game for the first time and loved it to pieces, like I got to that part and I was just like, holy shit, that's dark, and nobody talks about it because it's like, haha, silly game. Summer camp.
I was revisiting that
powers.
one, and I was surprised at how well they handle mental issues and trauma for a game that came out in 2004?
Something like that.
It was early
Damn.
Xbox, so.
I should get into that. I've
Yeah,
always wanted to
underrated.
play Psychonauts.
It's
like,
so good.
back in mentioning Starman.net, shout out. Back in my early Earthbound fandom days, like a lot of people who loved Earthbound also loved Psychonauts, and like I was always curious about it, and I never gave it a chance because I didn't have an Xbox back then. And now that it's out, I just haven't really like out on everything. I just haven't really given it a chance, but I really, really want to.
I highly recommend it, and the sequel was absolutely fucking fabulous
very good,
too.
and
wow.
handles things like alcoholism very tastefully.
Oh my god, yeah.
Shit.
Like it slam dunks everything that's like a sensitive subject, because it's very easy to, and this happens in horror games all the time, constantly. And it's like, you know what's scary? Mental illness.
Yeah.
Whoa, holy shit, it's scary. So it's like you see a lot of mishandling of those topics because they're treating it more like a freak show than like empathetic and stuff like that. Which is another thing that set Silent Hill 2 apart, was that it was kind of like, you know, it's not that being crazy in and of itself is scary. It's like the empathy that you should have with someone that's gone through that. That's like terrifying, that anybody could you know, sink to such terrible depths and stuff like that. And it's not just like, whoa, they're scary because they're nuts. And like, you know, Psychonauts is very respectful about that, and the sequel was really, really respectful about that. And it's like, you know, be careful, because the whole game premise is like you're going into people's brains and like fixing them a little bit.
Yeah, and the
So it's
second
like-
game even comments on like, hey, no, you don't understand. Like, you can't just fix people. You got to be very careful with that stuff.
And they also did a better job handling Romani-based stuff, because we didn't know that was a slur back then, us Americans. We didn't really know that was a slur yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Raz comes from a traveling circus family, and
hey, I've seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. I know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think we reached a pretty good consensus on that, and I do think the accurate ones are pretty easy to just list off. Like for you, Jess, I would say like Final Fantasy IX is a game that was, I would say, underrated for a while, but now with the anniversary, I feel like a lot of people are coming on to like, this game is wonderful, and I really appreciate it. And that game is on its surface level very lighthearted, but is about a lot of like war and death and kind of deeper, more philosophical things, and it has the room to breathe, to be like, a little dark.
Yeah, I didn't expect it of it. As somebody who's still getting my JRPG education syllabus with that game on it,
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of it just feels very internally consistent too. Like it doesn't feel like all the like more depressing stuff with Vivi is trying to pull the rug out from under you.
Right, yeah.
So I got my choices.
Okay.
I think underappreciated or underrated. I'm actually gonna shout out my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time, Illusion of Gaia. It is a game that on the surface, it kind of starts out as a very by-the-numbers adventure game. A lot of people say it's a Zelda clone, and in fact, it was marketed as a competitor to Zelda at the time by Enix of US. And I remember I played this game when I was very young at the recommendation of a friend, and I was hit with what to my 8-year-old brain was, or 10-year-old I think, was like existentialism on like every layer of exist. Like I was asking myself like religious questions as a kid, like do we what happens to us when we die? And for that reason it is still my favorite game, probably top favorite game, not number one maybe, but like close. It's a game that's like very adventure-y at first, but then you encounter things like, I don't want to spoil too much because I really think everyone should play it, but there are times when the main character is talking to like spirits, like dead people, but they don't really tell you until later. And I don't know, I that kind of stuff like stayed with me. I think one of the scenes I will talk about is one of the first dungeons you enter, you like, there are traps everywhere because it's like an ancient Incan temple, and you can die. There's like this one trap that activates, and you can only tell because there's like a skeleton on the spot where like a giant block will like crush you, and that's like the game design telling you, hey, be careful, there's something here. But if you inspect that skeleton, it has a letter, and it's like, Papa, come home soon. And you're like, yeah, and again, it's like I'm 10 years old, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. You like late game, you go to the water city. It's like a city where like a bunch of little rafts are like, and floating houses, and it's really pretty. There's these two kids in the corner going, we're waiting for Dad. He's every day we come here, we wait for Dad to come home. And I'm like, oh shit. Like as a kid, I was like the gears were turning, like, oh no, I know what happened.
And like, it's really impactful because you're a kid. You've
yeah,
never seen it before. Like, holy shit.
And that was like, to me, this game, which is like, I was enjoying it because it's an adventure game. It's cool. You turn into a knight and you shoot like power beams and video games, yay. But every once in a while, it just like curveballed me with this like dark shit. Like, damn, bro. One of the characters gets eaten by a fish, and then later the fish saves you and talks to you as that character, and you're like, it's like, what happens to me when I die? Like, and it stayed with me forever. It's such a wonderful little game that I think about a lot. And as time went on, at the time it was kind of popular, but now less and less people talk about it. I still take pride in catching like all the Illusion of Gaia references in Deltarune.
Let's say Illusion of Gaia is your second favorite game about eating moss.
It might be my favorite game about eating moss. It's so funny to me to catch like little Super Nintendo era references in Deltarune, because it's like, yes, I know this, I've been there. And the one that I get the most thrill out of is Illusion of Gaia. So please, if that's any endorsement of the game, please play Illusion of Gaia. And then for my accurately rated, like, secretly dark game, I'm just gonna say Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
I think has like the perfect blend of like hopium and like sad,
eerie,
scary times. Yeah, eerie, sad, scary times. Like that's another game I played when I was very young. And it was like the first Zelda I actually owned, so I got to experience it over and over again. The scene, that little secret dungeon where you have to go to sleep to go into the dungeon. And the dream sequence is like eerie and creepy, and the music is off-putting and uncomfortable. That introduced me to like the feeling of like I'm scared, like I'm playing a video game on a tiny dot matrix broccoli green LCD screen, like, and I'm feeling like fear. That shit rules. And I love that. I guess here we go. Deltarune spoilers. Chapter 3 really honed in on that, like, on how like minimalist graphics and the right kind of music can be eerie and scary if done right. And I really, really think that it took that cue from Link's Awakening.
I think Toby Fox could make a really good horror game if he wanted to.
And then make it look like that, like really minimalist art style, really minimalist soundtrack, and it still hits exactly the way it wants to. Brainlords, video games of the mind.
You promised you'd take me there again someday. James! It's our special place. Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2. Rated M for mature. For PlayStation 2. From Konami.
That's it. It's time for a big shot.
Oh, yeah, y'all, we do need a big shot.
We need a big shot on our side.
We need a big shot. We need a big shot.
You need a big shot? I got your big shot right here. We got 12 delicious flavors, and you'll love them all.
Saber Center has all your big shot tailgate party needs at prices too low to mention. Look for Iron Mike Big Shot displays at Saber Center.
Big Shot of the Week.
Brainlords, video games of the mind. Well, that is an incredible segue to our next topic. Jess, Jorge, can you tell me, who is the Roaring Knight?
Really?
I need to know right now.
Right
100%
now?
True, called shot.
Obviously it's Papyrus.
Oh, I see. We're trying to find the identity. Oh, so... yeah. Oh, God, I'm cringing. No, we don't know who the Roaring Knight is. Please stop.
I guess to back up very...
I think it's like likely it's Des, and I think it's not like a secret. I think it's like you're supposed to be leaning in that direction. Maybe Toby will zig when you think he'll zag. I don't know. But
the
at this
horns
point
are
in time, I think you're
giveaway.
supposed to suspicious.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be suspicious in that direction.
Yeah,
to
the
back
horns
up
are a
just a skosh, in Deltarune chapters 3 and 4, and I'm not gonna get deep into spoilers or even just plot discussion, but a major antagonist from the beginning is a being called the Roaring Knight that is opening.
We're already gonna spoil it, so
We're gonna spoil it.
But but it's a being known as the Roaring Knight. It's opening a bunch of alternate worlds, and you're chasing in there after them, trying to close up these portals and stop them. And yeah, as you've alluded to, like, there is a lot of potential foreshadowing in like the chapter right after their after you see them in the flesh or in the dark, as it were, for the first time. Like, they've got antlers, they have a sword. And in the very next chapter, in one of the earliest scenes, you meet like this very stern mother character who has antlers, who has a black katana on her wall. But as you do a little bit more digging, like, you find like there's a lot of grief and mysteries surrounding her daughter, which may or may not be missing, depending on how much you read into things. It's pretty heavily alluded to.
I think like the fandom has really like hardcore decided that she is just capital D dead, and it's like the game has not said she's capital D.
Yeah,
dead
there's
or
no
anything.
proof of this. Oh my God.
And to be fair, there's a lot of very purposeful foreshadowing type things that are things you can read into. Like, the knight is left-handed and the mouse is on the left-hand side of Des's computer. It's a sword, but also it's kind of bat-shaped, and Des has a song. There's a song that's very clearly something that seems like Des would sing that references a bat multiple times. So, congratulations, everyone, foreshadowing. But
yeah, that's what it is. You did it, kids.
When also, what's funny about that too is that like when I see all these Deltarune theories, so many of them are like, now we've learned out how wrong we were after chapters from 2 to 3. But I've got, surely this time I've got it. Like, everyone is like, oh yeah, we thought that the formula was going to be like, we go into a dark world, we meet a new classmate or a new townsperson, and then we end the dark world and we go explore the town for a little bit. Like, that's the formula, that's a Deltarune. And then when 3's like, no, we're in the dark world the whole time, and 4's like, you're going to go in the town in the beginning half. Like, yeah, these games... Why would I want to be able to predict everything that could possibly happen in this game? Yeah. That sounds awful.
Like, Deltarune attracts 2 major categories of people, I think. Teenagers and autistics. I think it is, like, made in a lab
Distilled.
Be like that. Like, it's, like, very, like... I don't know how purely intentional it is on Toby Fox's behalf, but he's being very clever about how enigmatic the game is being in certain directions, and the secrets that are in places, and the jokes that are in other places, and being very hard to pin down about like the nature of certain things. And I think that like teens and autistics like to find patterns and don't have a lot of like outside scope for that and experience for that for teenagers, so they're going to try to predict like, oh, this is the pattern it's going to follow, this is the plot line it's going to go to. And it's like, I don't think Toby's that predictable, and I think he's like, you know, not purposely misleading anybody, but like, you know, he's not going to do what you expect him to do. It's going to be something better and funnier than that.
I guess like even repeating a pattern just once is enough for people to pick up on it and be like, something's happening here, especially when you're kind of, if you come from Undertale especially, you pick up on little things that seem frivolous or innocuous at first. I don't know, innocuous? I'm trying to think of the right word. Inconspicuous. Just things that you don't think matter suddenly matter. And then you train your brain to be like, oh, I have to pay attention to all this. This all means something. And I like to call that the Stanley Kubrick effect, because the Kubrick fans are kind of similar in that aspect, where it's like, well, this is a person who we know did everything, and I'm not comparing Toby to Kubrick at all, because holy shit, that's wild, but this is a person who does pay attention to small details and gives them meaning. And then the fandom, unfortunately, takes that to the extreme where it's like, well, then literally everything has meaning. Like,
I mean, The Shining is about the moon landing being faked. Obviously,
it's wild. What, like, yeah, you want to talk about fan theories? Just go
that whole documentary. I was like, this is not what I thought the documentary was going to be about. I can go to a fan wiki any day and read bullshit, random
they
details
powered the
on
spaceship
the wall.
using foreskins.
Yeah, but there's oh my god. Just going back to this. Yeah, I guess the effect is similar, and that's where I'll say, like, I'm doing the comparison here, is the fact that people now take all of Deltarune as important subtext, no matter what the text is. One of my favorite things that people are getting hung up on now is Jockington the snake.
Oh my god, I've been seeing that.
and how the mural, the prophecy mural saying that Jockington grows a beard is like a joke. But now people are like, but what if it isn't? What if...
Yeah, it's part of the prophecy.
What if there's a prophecy? Yeah, like, it's part of the prophecy. And I'm like, well, but also the fact that Lancer said Toothpaste Boy is also part of the prophecy, you know? Like, and that's
which
just
true,
played for laughs. Yeah, it's true, but it's played for laughs because it's like, oh, that's how accurate the prophecy is.
If this is true, then we can't get through our teen years without a handy egg. Anything in this game
the
has
egg
to be,
is another, like, holy crap, what does the egg mean?
I saw, like, related to the Jockington thing, because everybody's like, whoa, what does it mean? Holy shit. And I saw the opposite end where somebody was like, I was just wondering if this isn't actually part of the prophecy. What if this was something that Jockington just, like, carved into one of the church pews? Because it looks like the cool S.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
It's like, that would be great. And, like, some people were just like, how would he do it? He's got no arms. And, like,
So
I
for
can't tell
the
who's
scrutiny
joking
for
anymore.
that, there's scrutiny
I
for
cannot
that.
tell who's joking.
Oh my god, yeah, that's
It's
me
all really
every
funny.
day. I love that though. See, I like that kind of theory where it's like, yeah, what if he just like wrote the cool S somewhere and then he drew himself with a beard?
It's plausible. It's
Yeah,
totally plausible,
it is.
'cause Toby has done jokes like that a lot.
It has just as much weight as any fan theory would. But I guess it's not cool enough, and it doesn't give us hours of entertainment of going down a rabbit hole of our own creation.
And I think that's what kind of facilitates this all, is like, to people's credit, like, a lot of these little details are really important. So, like I remember kind of blowing your mind earlier, Jorge, with like pointing out that even in chapter 2, there's a lot of things that like, they don't tell you that Des's name is like December, and they have the whole spelling bee scene where like Noelle gets stopped up and loses the spelling bee because the final word is December, and she just can't bring herself to spell it. So like,
yeah, something I didn't pick up on.
It's there, and that's really cool. But
in the scene where like she's talking to Chris, and they're doing this like kind of like this and that puzzle room where they have to step on switches to back and forth. She's like telling a story about them being kids and stuff like that, and the switches are spelling December as you're telling this story. And you go past and through like certain like things that are blocking your view of Noelle, and you just see her shadow. And like at a certain point you see her shadow, and it's like clearly a younger version of Noelle while she's telling this story from her childhood. And it's like there's some subtle cool shit going on in
my
this
favorite
game.
one by a landslide is the joke that like Queen makes everyone's rooms customized based off their search history alone. And the gags are so good, but then like Queen's just like, yeah, I looked at your search history, Noelle, and so like I customized your room, and there's a calendar where every day is Christmas. And at first you're like, oh, haha, because like she's a weird little sweetie and whatever like that. Or she's probably always Googling like Christmas decorations. But then when you think about it, it's probably because her search history is like every day she's searching online for December holiday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, something that's played as a joke ends up... And like, I have to be nice to people who get like really twisted around in their own theories, because like the crumbs are there. They really are. Like, this feeds into that like sicko part of your brain where it's like, well, I must know more, but I don't have enough information, and there's just not like we have a waiting period between each. That's another important thing about Deltarune, and the reason fans are given so much to work with is that we have a wait period between chapters. Like, there's just stuff we don't know. If this game all came out at once, I don't think we would have this cycle of like, what is Jockington's role in the prophecy? Like, we wouldn't.
It's really so clever. Like Toby Fox is super clever in general. Like I know you're like, I don't want to compare him to Kubrick, but I was like, oh, I don't want to
not compare him to Kubrick.
And I was gonna compare him to Da Vinci. God damn it!
Oh my god! yeah.
Because he can do all this shit though, and he's good at it. He could draw. He could compose. He could program. He could write.
The other episode, I had to learn how time signatures work because his music was too complicated.
Yeah, like this kid's a fucking genius. I say that he's like 30 or something, but guy's really, really smart. He's really fucking talented. So it's just like a shock every time. It's like, you can do that too. He speaks Japanese fluently too.
Yeah.
Like what?
Why wouldn't he have perfect authorial intent on all things?
Yeah, right. And it's like, it's just crazy how clever all this does seem to be, even up to and including the fact that it's coming out in parts, which totally encourages like fan reactions and fandoms to really thrive.
Yeah, it gives
grow.
It gives people time and space to grow with the series.
And really, what other games are like? Like I was trying to think of what games currently have any sort of episodic or open-ended structure, and Remedy's games, like I really can truly not think of anything else that's not like smaller or indie that is like episodic or is like building up on this mythos.
Should have been Half-Life. Too bad.
Yeah, right.
They missed their window. Yeah, I guess like I have to be a little nice to the fans because there is so much you can work with, and it is fun. Like I know I myself, I think we all had that period of our lives where we engage with this stuff, and it was just entertaining. As long as people, the problem is when people get, we've mentioned this already, when people get toxic about it and they become like their own authority, and they're like, well, I'm right because not because I have proof, but because I've spent so much time on this that I have to be right now.
Yeah.
And they get protective about this stuff.
I don't think it's any like lack of media literacy. I mean, certainly people don't have much. I think that
there's a little bit of that.
Well, I think with things like Deltarune, there's so much encouragement and algorithmic push for content TM that, of course, it's drivel.
Oh no, let's get into this. Actually,
I think that is causing people to like make the called shot, be definitive, be ironclad, and they're like, "Yep, I've figured it out. It's actually Asgore." The horns are a misdirection because it's like, yeah, you can just throw out your called shot and like be in the moment and do the video immediately without really simmering on it. And if it's wrong, who cares? Because then you'll be like, 10 things I got wrong about it as you like make other called shots, even though there's literally a boss fight that makes fun of those people.
Oh yeah,
so brilliant.
If you get further in the game, you actually get to meet Mike. And
I did not know anything about Mike.
No, me neither. I was just so happy to see new characters in a very cool boss fight where you use sound to dodge attacks. That was enough for me. And then the fight ends and there's like one of those conspiracy boards behind the characters, and I'm like, oh, is that what this is about? I had no idea about Woody. I had no idea about frickin' Friend. I had no idea about like any why does that character look like a cat with mics on its paws? It's funny, it's cute. I don't know.
That's why it holds up, is because it is just silly characters at the end of the day. But if you know, then it's, you know.
And it's also like, you know, the Deltarune is really building off of the big creepypasta of Undertale, which is Gaster.
Oh my god.
Like, so much of this, the source is Gaster, and, like, people played Undertale and didn't know about this guy. He comes up once. There's a room that can appear, 1 in 1,000 chances that he's in, and he's, like, in the code, and people are like, this guy's weird and important. What the fuck is this? And then, like, you've got Deltarune happening, and it's like, oh, Gaster's doing this, and da-da-da. And it's like, there's tons of little references to Gaster, but it's like, he's not come up or anything.
And,
no,
you know,
we don't know for sure.
And it bears, I need people to sober up and realize, like, it bears reminding that sprite you encounter is not named Gaster, and there's like there's no. I don't want to shoot it down, but there's like no proof of this. The only reason we call it
Friend is because people dug in the files, which is like, If you live in that world of like unused content, like there's a reason it's not in the game. You got to be careful.
Well,
with that.
I mean, similarly, a lot of the desk stuff is coming from stuff that's deep in the code as well. So it's like, you know, Toby knows that people are going to be digging in the code. He is putting those things in there.
This is the weird, like, this is the weird...
He's encouraging this shit.
There's the weird... the fucking mic fight. The fucking mic... At the end of it, if you go right into the dark hallway, something happens. And you're like, well... What the fuck? Now I have more questions than I did before.
To give him credit, I would say if you're Toby Fox and you're inspired by things like Yume Nikki and Earthbound, like, why wouldn't you want your game to be larger than it actually is, to be spooky and weird and have all these deep, dark corners that invite speculation? Because that is the coolest thing about a lot of these games, is the fact that they have so many unanswered questions that are just weird. And so...
Yeah.
And like, how you play with a game... It's evolved since the 1980s and 90s. Like, there was only a certain way to play a game. It was like you physically play the video game and maybe you talk about it at school with your friends. Now we have an internet. Now ARGs are a huge thing. Everyone thinks everything's an ARG. They're really excited to figure these things out. That's a whole nother way of playing and interacting with something. And he's providing play even for the people who are super not casual about this. They're people that dive into the code. And it's like he's considering those players too.
And
like,
that does
he's doing this
it does add to the game. It makes it more mysterious. It makes it feel more not solved. And that aligns with the artistic intent, I would argue. Even if some people just get too fixated on the literal and not just enjoying the feeling, the vibes of the game.
I think that's what it is, because like something I loved, even though chapter 3 is my least favorite, something I love about chapter 3
Whoa!
I'm sorry, everybody.
Cancel.
Whoa!
I'm
Just like
sorry,
the
everybody.
TV.
Fucking
Come on,
hangs
like
up the
chapter
Discord
4
call.
blows it out of the water. Come on. Anyway,
only chapter 4 only works because 3 sets it up.
chapter 4 works because it's good.
Chapter
So
4 does not have a sexy Tumblr man in it.
chapter 4 has a fucking Ninja Turtle in it. Okay. So I do love the thing I absolutely love, and I'm not saying it's my least favorite because it's bad. It's just like, oh, it's a 7 out of 10 compared to the rest of them. But something I do love. Holy shit! Is that what we're gonna get into this?
Go
No.
Sorry.
What I actually do fucking love about 3, genuinely, is how I rarely see a game capture that feeling of creepypasta this well. Like, the feeling of giving the player enough agency to feel like they broke the game in a controlled environment. Like, when you get into the adventure area and you have a sword, when you're doing the solo adventure thing, and you get the sword, and you break the game enough to be able to, like, cut every tree or every obstacle, and the game encourages you to just, like, go out of bounds. I love that shit. That being able to capture that feeling of, like, I broke the game, but in an intentional, deliberate way. I wish more games did that. I think the last game I remember doing that really well was Anodyne.
Yeah.
Where it just lets you break the game and you can discover areas you can't access that way. That shit is like candy to my brain.
All the secret bosses.
Stanley Parable.
Yeah, all the secret
Stanley
bosses
Parable.
in Deltarune feel like if you play them reasonably thoroughly, you can find all of them without much trouble, on your own, without guides. But they feel so mysterious and so dangerous. If
you have that natural curiosity, you will run into this. That's what I love about it. Like, it rewards your curiosity. It rewards you wanting to break the game. And I think that's something more developers should do. I will give Toby all the praise for this. Like, he knows who's playing this game. Like, yeah, I know you like this shit. Like, go at it. Have fun.
And there's stuff like the eggs where it's like, there's no way you're solving the eggs thing without going online and hearing a schoolyard rumor. Like, there's a secret room where if you go back and forth between these two rooms, like, this other room shows up, and it's like, that's very hard to naturally do, to naturally stumble upon.
But it can only, if people will only discover it. Yeah, people will only discover it because a lot of people are playing it, and everyone will share that experience. And they'll be like, wait, you didn't find that room? Just me? Holy shit. That is like schoolyard talk. Like, wait, my game did this weird thing. How come yours didn't do that? Yeah. Well, you're lying. You're full of shit. Like, that's not true. But I'll show you. And then there's like, I can't make it work. What happened? Like,
how great that like Toby's captured the feeling of like, well, if that's true, like, what else might be true? So yeah, it does feel like everything is on the table. Maybe Jockington is secretly this demon Ouroboros. We don't fucking know.
And that would be awesome if it was. I just don't think it's true yet. Yeah. Like, I guess that's the thing. I don't like getting ahead. I don't like something I was telling Kyle, Jess, was like, I feel like we're in this generation of media. Our relationship to media is kind of twisted by this competition we have between like the player and the devs, or like the creators, where it's like, I have to outsmart the maker of this, and that becomes like a toxic mentality. I see this happen more with like TV shows where it's like,
oh god,
I need, like, where is this going? We need to figure this out. We need, and it's this like, it's this weird like competition of like, I'm smarter than the people who make this show. But then if the showrunners catch on to that, they're like, no, we're smarter than you, so we're gonna
change it to be worse.
Yes,
stupid.
Exactly. And I
Game
think,
of Thrones.
Yeah, okay. So we know what we're talking about. But yeah, that's like the best example of that happening, where it was like, they didn't let the fans organically reach a conclusion. They had to change it in order to, like, not for any like artistic reason other than like, no, you sit down and stop.
We gotta get ahead of this.
Yeah,
this is a problem for us. And it's like, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
People are accurately reading your foreshadowing. That's a good thing.
Yes, that is a good thing.
They're engaging with your story correctly. Why are you punishing them?
Yes, and we're in this environment now where there is like a clash between creator and consumer, and I hate that. Like, I actually hate that, and I feel like this is what creates off-base theories where it's like, I know I'm smarter than the creators. Kyle, going to what you were talking about, the content mill of like the theory industrial complex.
Oh God.
And it's just like how we're facing this like content creation for the sake of content creation and enabling like these off-base theories just to like gain that social capital, you know, for no other reason other than clout. Instead of like fomenting or like fostering like good relationships between fandoms and creators, we're doing the opposite, where it's like, no, we figured it out, we're smarter, it's us versus them.
Yeah, like, it's antagonistic.
Yeah, and I hate that so much. Because it doesn't create it's not a healthy experience to have with a game where you're constantly trying to outsmart the game, when really you should just like play it, like just let it, you know, take it in, absorb it. When the credits roll, sit on and ruminate on it and be like, I like this and I like that, and what does this mean? Cool, nice. And have a healthy engagement. Like, go talk to other fans, be like, what did you think of that? What did you think? Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like we're losing a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is really highlighted in like one of my favorite little Easter eggs in Deltarune, where there's like a secret room that you can get to if you go back and forth between a couple of doors. And when you get in there, actually it takes you to the question zone.
What? We're in the question zone already?
Oh yeah, it was secretly there the whole time.
I feel like we're not even done talking about Deltarune. But
we'll never be done talking about Deltarune.
I guess not. Welcome to the question zone. Get ready.
Yes, we've solicited a number of questions. You can contact us at brainlordspod@gmail.com. And Jess, you helped us solicit some questions, and holy cow, your friends and fans turned up. We have 15 questions, so we may have to lightning round.
More than we've ever had, yeah.
Oh, good for me.
Mm-hmm. But the good news is actually folks. Many of these we've kind of answered, so I'm just going to go through it. Our first question is from Chewing on the Bars of My Cage Like a Dog, who says, how do you feel about creators changing plots based on theories, either liking the theory more than they've planned or changing it to one-up the audience when people realize what's going to happen? And I think we just said that.
We just talked about this.
Stinky.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, I wonder if anyone's changed it because they read a better one. Though,
can you imagine?
That's done that.
I know, like FF7 Remake, I think is changed slightly because of people digging into like the foreshadowing and
come on.
And yeah, I think it's going to make for a worse game. I think that's ruining the earlier stuff you've built up.
Yeah, I don't personally think I've seen or read like a game or TV show changing its ending because the devs or the writers were like on Reddit and read a better theory and went, wait, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
It's better than what I had.
The best I can come up with was Korra, like in The Legend of Korra, the authors were like, oh, this is pretty gay, actually. Yeah, this makes sense. But, yeah, largely, you're right. It does not happen. But next question from Old Man Splimbo. Which games do you think has the most unnecessary or inconsequential lore? And which game do you think has been enhanced the most by theories and deep lore surrounding it?
Damn, this is a big one.
So, most unnecessary lore, best lore.
Unnecessary lore. I
think lore I don't understand is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
It seems like that doesn't need to have a lot, because it seems like the premise is just very nice and clean, and I don't think there needs to be like
the bite of 87 or
like it seems very, very convoluted to me, but I'm kind of on the outside looking in on that, so I could be wrong.
I mean, me too. I watched the movie. Oh, go on, Kyle.
Well, it's different thing I was going to say. One I'm deeply entrenched in is like the Zelda timeline stuff. I think just so actively makes those games worse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish the Zelda timeline was never a thing. But going to Five Nights at Freddy's thing, Jess, I watched the movie for the first time. I didn't know anything about these games. I just watched the what is it, Blumhouse, I think, did the movie. And I was like shocked at what the fucking premise of this series was. I had no idea about the animatronics being like people.
Like ghosts?
Yeah, like the spirits of children that they killed.
It's
it was like, what in the shit is all this?
Is that necessary?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Now some of them are cool and from the 80s and made purposefully hot for the furries. It's like,
my
okay,
God.
we're doing this. Like, do we need lore to go along with this, or can we just have campy fun with this?
I'm willing to go along with any lore with FNAF because it doesn't make sense or whatever. The only thing I do not accept is in the movie, the logo to Five Nights at Freddy's shows Freddy Fazbear, and he's drawn as an animatronic object. And I'm like, no.
What? That sucks.
You wouldn't, if you had a pizza place, you would draw the bear that he's
real.
supposed to look like.
Yeah.
The cartoon, yeah.
Okay,
Anyways.
what were you saying, Kyle, about
Zelda?
Yeah, you mentioned the timeline. I guess like I feel this way about the Donkey Kong timeline. After Bonanza came out and people were like upset they couldn't neatly fit this into like a Donkey Kong timeline, which I guess now I didn't know it was a fucking thing until that happened.
I mean, it wasn't until now because people had something to jump into.
The only timeline was that Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I like
and that's just a
already
fun
existed.
Easter egg.
That already existed. It was just a fun little nod.
And they retconned that. It's so annoying.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I want to really quickly mention that if you want a better Five Nights at Freddy's movie, you should watch the Nicolas Cage one, which is a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's called Willy's Wonderland or something. It's actually fucking good.
All right. I'll give that a watch. What was the last part of that question, though? I think we didn't.
Best lore.
Best lore?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. The fucking Drakengard Nier. Like...
Oh, actually, yeah. I was gonna say like Dark Souls. No, Drakengard's lore fucking owns.
But like, when I never played Nier until Automata came out. When I found out that this game is a spin-off of like the
like
fifth ending in a PS2 game that came out like 2004, that sparked something in my brain, and I just wanted to know more. And I played the original Nier, and then I watched all of Drakengard 1 and 2.
Good choice.
And
Drakengard.
because like to get that secret ending in Drakengard 1 is like fucking
insane.
Crazy. Yeah, but I was like eating that shit up. Like I have to sympathize with people who like are obsessed with lore, because I've had moments like that. Like when I found out what happened to all the humans in Nier Replicant, I was like, shit. That's cool. I want to know more. Oh my god! Like,
you're telling me this tree is the internet? That fucks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like,
right.
That's cool.
We have got to get through these questions faster if we're going to get all of them. So, next question from Old Fart: what makes creepypasta and secret lore theories so compelling to kids? And we did talk about this a little bit, but you've learned the rules to your world, and now they're broken, and that is crazy to you as a child.
Subverting expectations that you've recently learned about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
Next question, old millennial who yells at clouds. Do you think fandoms have done more harm than good in media spaces these days and contribute to eroding media literacy overall? Something I've come to resent from them is not allowing something to remain unexplained, for example, is a big part of why I find myself unable to connect with fan communities nowadays. And we talked about this a lot. Like, it's the content mill part of it.
I was going to answer. I don't think the fandoms are at fault so much as the content creators.
Yeah, blame the algorithms.
Like, the algorithm. Like, basically what get. And I don't want to like capital C content creator this shit either. Like, I think there is an incentive for people to, like, tell lies, I guess. I don't have any like nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
And exaggerate things just to make them sound cool. And people who are fans and they don't really want to do the legwork and the introspection to like figure things out for themselves, they turn to these people. And that does kind of create like a toxic environment. Yeah. I wouldn't place the blame on fandoms though. Like there are pockets of fandom that are healthy and good and foster creativity, and that's a generally good thing, and we all should encourage that.
It's more bad faith actors, but our next our next question is from Pikachu was a dream the whole time, who says, what do you think of the you shouldn't put much more effort than the writers did rule for video game theories? And I think, you got it. I think you ought to be careful not to put much more effort in it than the people that created it. Now, there is like fields of literary criticism where that's the whole point, but
Yeah, I think like the problem with that is that people who put a lot of effort into it assume that that's the same amount of effort the developers put in. So it's kind of it's based off of a misunderstanding of effort.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
I think as long as people have fun with it, it's fine to like I probably have thought about the plot of Mega Man X more than Capcom did. And I love it for that. Like the Mega Man X in my head is cooler than the one we got. So, and I'm totally okay with that. I think there is a right place and time for that kind of thing.
The next is from Pedantic in Peoria, who asks, do you have a general guideline of when setting and world building details move from adding to the experience into the lore TM? Like, when does "oh, to this item has the same symbol as one character had in their jacket" turn to "I have shut the game down and rolled out my chalkboard for you"? So, general guideline of how to add to experience versus getting deep dive into the lore.
I don't know, really, because I'm not a writer, per se. But I think it's probably to do with, like, whatever you're trying to impart about the world, take out about half of that.
Yeah. I would say just focus on, don't focus on what is literal, and focus on feelings, and understand that that's what those are, and just support them like any argument.
I'm trying to understand the question better. Are they asking, like, how important it is to correlate, like, symbolism into lore and incorporate that and, like give meaning to everything?
Or is it like, oh, you didn't read the description of this sword? Well, you don't know why this god exists or not.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Okay.
there are examples like when does the symbolism turn to like I now have to have a conspiracy board.
Oh, I guess like that, it's super subjective. I guess like that. I just don't think it's really easy to parse out what is and isn't authorial intent with little details like that, unless you're already familiar with that work.
Yeah. When most of your stuff is not based off any sort of first-hand source, like you got to be careful. So
I guess that's what it is. Yeah, just be careful with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay to have fun and be like, whoa, why is that there?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I don't know. Just don't be weird about it, I guess.
Yeah. That's good advice for literally everything. Next question is from Eduardo the Terrible, who asks, what are your feelings on plot twists that are figured out by fans before games release, such as Venom Snake is really the Doctor, or FF7 remake is actually the sequel to FF7, because something in the lore gave it away?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it rules. Foreshadowing is awesome.
Yeah. You actually figured out the puzzle by paying attention.
And like we mentioned earlier, I think authors, developers, and creators should respect that. Like if you put the clues out and people figure it out, that was a good thing.
Yeah,
like,
does it make it better?
You did
on
a good
viewings?
job.
Then it's awesome.
Oh yeah, and
did people figure out that the Doctor was Venom Snake before that happened?
I mean, they were shooting out like crazy theories from like trailers 0, basically.
Yeah, well,
I was
one of them must be that.
Yeah.
I would say that maybe they figured out that Venom Snake wasn't Big Boss. Yeah. But I don't think people guessed who it was, and it wasn't the Doctor.
It should have been Chico.
No, Chico is Raiden.
Wait, Jess, you like Metal Gear?
Yeah, I'm married to one. I'm married to a Metal Gear.
That's awesome, though. I'm replaying Ground Zeroes and having sad times all over again. Anyway.
Nice.
Our next question is from Enemy of Time, who says, for years I've hated the Zelda timeline because it poisons any discussion of the series with speculation about contradictory, inconsequential details that don't matter. Are there any fan theories that you dislike because the discourse is annoying? Many of them.
I have the one I've been wanting to talk about this whole fucking episode.
What's that?
The Earthbound Gaiga's fetus.
Yeah.
I won't get into it too much, Jess, because you haven't played Earthbound, but
yeah, I know adjacently of this.
Okay, it was a very prevalent like fan theory. Once someone pointed it out, it kind of became the focus of a lot of people's attention. And the thing I noticed, unfortunately, and this to me is a tell that it's a bad theory, and I am being kind of objective about this, like put my foot down, this is bad, is when people who don't know anything about Earthbound latched onto it. and define.
That's like the only thing I know about Earthbound is this fucking thing.
And they latch onto
that
it,
sucks.
and they create this narrative around the game that is entirely untrue. Like I kind of joke with Kyle about the fetus theory. Like, did you know they made a whole game around that? Actually, like that wasn't just a thing that happens in the whole. And that's what I hate about it is that it all the subtext, all the themes, and like all the storytelling, all the character development is reduced to this one thing that happens at the end. And whether it's true or not doesn't matter to me anymore. It's like, why are people hyper fixating on this? This is like 2% of the entire experience. And I hate that because like Earthbound to me is important because of everything that happens before the end, you know? The emotional core of the game isn't in how dark it is. It's actually in how bright it is and how optimistic it is. And I hate that this theory poisoned the well. Like it really did make talking about Earthbound unfun for a long time. Because that's all everyone. Oh, did you know Shigesato Itoi was inspired by blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, he was traumatized as a kid. Blah blah blah. And I'm like,
well, that's
oh
when
my
they start
god, shut the fuck up.
First-hand accounts wrong.
Yeah, and then suddenly people are actually just making shit up because like the myth is more fun than the reality to them.
For reference, Jess, it's like the whole Silent Hill was based off this town, when that's conjecture based off of a misunderstanding.
Yeah, and then you can't talk around about anything else because people are just like so sure of themselves, and you're like, well, I can't have a conversation because it requires me to disprove this thing you just said.
Yeah, and I think
on the bright side, if you ever like watch a YouTube video that's like 5 insane facts about this or that, if they start with like, or like you just skip to the end and it's like the fetus gigas thing, or like Centralia, Pennsylvania, you can just be like, nope.
That's a good litmus test.
Content.
Yeah, like, we're out. Bye.
I googled this for 5 seconds, and I'm not going to see if it's true.
God, yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. What was their name? The question person, I should say. Sorry.
From Enemy of Time.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad I got to vent about the Gigas fetus. I hate it so much.
I think that's really ultimately all we're kind of trying to say here is that like there's so much to enjoy about like these deeper worlds and this writing that makes it feel so big, so open-ended, and like literary criticism is a real field, and you have to extrapolate more than is in the text. But like,
yeah, I guess like okay, if the only thing you know about a game is like one thing you heard over and over, like take that with a grain of salt and don't let that define. It's kind of what almost happened to me with Nier Automata. I almost did not play this game just because I got so fucking tired of all the Gunnar art of like 2B's ass. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a good ass, but like that can't be the whole fucking game. That cannot be the whole fucking game. Like, are you shitting? Is there actually a game behind all this? And I'm so glad I gave it a chance, because if it was just for that, I would have probably skipped out on like one of my favorite series of all time. And that's what I hate. It's like, don't ruin this for everybody.
Yeah, let your love of this lore show you other games that might fill those kind of things, and let it give you more things to like rather than just one thing to like corner yourself into.
But yeah.
I think we've gone through quite a few questions, but I do need to get to work pretty soon, so I think that is all the time we have for questions right now.
Thank you for all of them, though.
Yeah,
thank you, everybody.
If you haven't heard I would love to answer everyone's, and we can carry over our questions into the next episode, obviously. But I might read some of them to you, Jess, and if you have any fun insights, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, sure.
But for right now, Jess, why don't we wrap things up with? Do you have any closing thoughts? And can you plug your stuff? Where can we find you, Jess?
Oh, no rec room today.
Oh, actually, okay. How about this, Jess? Do you have anything you would like to recommend? It doesn't have to be related to the topic at all, but just something outside the world of games that you want to.
Oh, damn. I don't have a world outside of games. I was gonna say I was just gonna shout Outer Wilds.
Hell yeah!
Not expound on that.
Yeah, do Outer Wilds. That's a good choice.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. Play that.
That is a game.
I don't have much to plug. I don't have much to plug. I have a I have a Patreon. It's Voidburger. I have a YouTube channel. It's Voidburger Gaming for my VODs from my streams, which is twitch.tv/Voidburger. You know, like it's all under Voidburger basically. I'm on Blue Sky, all that sort of stuff. And I am hoping to get back in the game in general because I think I am actually recovering from my crazy ass burnout that has totally destroyed my content creation skills for the past half a year basically. But I think I might be ready to get back on the horse soon, so stay tuned.
Yeah, at the very least,
I'm glad.
Jess is currently streaming a lot of some of the most beloved and iconic RPGs and other video games. So if you want to see someone
with guidance,
if you want to see someone,
my husband,
with a carefully curated hand, experience some of your favorite moments in video gaming, like hop onto her streams.
I was gonna say, I was gonna shout out the video we watched, Jess, of yours. That was, I think it was the Pyramid Head versus the Maw video.
Oh yeah,
that's the one that made me go like, yeah, let's have her on. Like this is really good.
Go watch Jess's video about the Phantasmagoria 2 in the gay 90s. Holy shit, love that.
Oh yeah, please do. There's not any fucking views on that thing, and it took a long time to make. Meanwhile, people are making videos about like Cars 3 being a super fascist movie, and it gets like 1.5 million views, and the guy complains that it's not enough, and I'm just like, I spent like 4 or 5 months on this thing, and it has like 10,000 views. Like, shut up.
Shout out Voidburger on YouTube. I really like your stuff, so go check that out.
Thank you.
Well, this has been Brainlords, the podcast that's been a dream the whole time.
Oh, damn it didn't matter.
None of this mattered. Don't matter. You can find us on social media at BrainlordsPod. You can find me on social media as Cute Monster Props or on my website, cutemonsterprops.com. Jorge, where can we find you?
You can find me going back to bed after we're done here. So I am J-Man Velez on everything, including all the shitty social media you hate. I also have a Patreon, but I don't really update it anymore. It's just my friends who are nice to me. Throwing me $1 out of pity. What's that?
Oh, I was gonna say, if you go to Fangamer and Artist Collections and look on JMV,
that's I need to plug that more.
You do a lot of cool stuff, and just shouting out if you like it. If you bought a shirt designed by him, you've got a really bitchin' mouth-watching design. Speaking of horror games with cool lore, if you like it, just talk about it. That's all. It'll make someone stay, and maybe it'll encourage more types of items like that. So,
yeah, you know what's funny? If you've watched GDQ from 2015 to like 2020, you probably have one of my shirts. If you bought a Yeti shirt from them,
and you've seen many times.
I've actually
Cute Monster
seen
Props on it.
Yeah, no, Cute Monster Prop is still on GDQ, which is great.
Thank you.
I'm the only person not related to GDQ at all here.
That's all right. But yeah, thanks so much, Jess, for joining us.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Let's rock.
Well, questions, comments, and inquiries can go to brainlordspod@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and all other places where podcasts are born. We've been your Brainlords for today, and we're reminding you to consume less, engage more. Thank you all for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.
I think it's funny I wasn't ready for the questions. So.
I try to get you every time.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. On the next episode of Brainlords. Remember when Ring Fit was like $300?
Remember when every grown-ass adult tried to leg switch cards?
Remember that John Cena commercial?
Remember ARMS?
Remember getting drift on like your third controller in a row?
Remember all those cool and obscure retro games they added to NSO apps that no one wants to play because they aren't Chrono Trigger?
Remember all that and more on next week's episode. What will Switch nostalgia look like? They did what to Raymond?
Ronaldinho success!